Welcome again to Life in German Unfiltered. And today we have a new guest who is going to introduce himself. And welcome, our brother.
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me. I'm called Otako. Yeah, you can call me Otako. I live in Germany, here in the Hessen, that's Marburg. It is a small university city. It's very international with a lot of people from all around the world because it's a student and university city. It collects a lot of people. Yeah, so I live in Germany and that's where I work. That's where I have my family. That's where I do my job as an educator, I would say. At the same time, studying in university too, and at the same time, at the same time also having self-employment jobs that I do. At the same time, having my family. I mean, yeah, this is my simple life in Germany here. Yeah, I'm educated as well as qualified educator in Germany. That's how you can just define me. Yeah. As before that, I was doing a lot of work.
Okay, thank you for that introduction, brother. We know a lot of people come here in German by different pathway. Like myself, I come here as internship. I do internship, then I start to work. How about you? How did you come here in German? Because you are originally here in Germany. You are born here in Germany. Maybe I can put the question like that.
Well, I am not originally born in Germany. I'm just from East Africa, Uganda. That's where I'm born. But before that, I was working in Uganda as an artist, doing a lot of creative work, traveling around the world. So I kept moving from one place to another, Asia, Europe, and Africa, from one city, Hong Kong, Thailand, Bangladesh, UK, France, Germany, France, England. In 2019, I ended up saying, oh, well, I need to set up, well, where should I do something that is really creative for me? But in my tours, I go to learn most contacts. And then I had to find a BUFD. I don't know that people know about BUFD, Bundesfreidienst program. It's more of like a volunteer program. So I got to get in touch with the theater here in Marburg that I worked with some years ago. And then they gave me a volunteer program. And then I came to Germany as a volunteer. Then I did my volunteer program for 2 years. And then from there in Germany, I decided to choose whether I continue with the creative industry, working art, telling stories, or maybe performing on stage, or maybe doing tours as I was working. And then they had to choose a decision to make as a human being who's a migrant living right now in Germany. And there I had to decide to go in for a training, a 3 years training to become an educator. So after
Okay.
my volunteer program for 2 years, then I trained and I became a professional educator in Germany, working with young people and also children. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's how I ended up in Germany in a very simple summary. It's a long
Yeah.
story, and I don't want to go to that story.
Okay.
It may
That's
take
nice.
more than what you have planned for today. So
Okay.
the volunteer program was my way to reach Germany.
Mm,
Yeah.
okay.
And with the volunteering program, that this is the way that you came to Germany. Is there other Ugandan people or East African people coming with the same program? And how did you go about it?
Well, there are so many young adults, young people, maybe also adults, because the volunteer program does not only target young people, it also targets people who have been in the profession working for a long time, but now they want to experience the cultures and the different things in Germany. how I got to learn about the BOFD program is that because in Uganda I worked a lot with the Goethe Institute Kampala. At the same time, also I got to know a lot of German people. At the same time as I was working, and then in that moment, I got to meet a German person in Rwanda when we were working, and then they also told me about the volunteer program. And then with my organization in Uganda, I was hosting also Germans to work in Uganda. They could come as volunteers under my organization, which is called OMT Creative. So then I said, okay, well, if they can come and volunteer in Uganda with our organization, that there should be a way for someone from the global south to volunteer. And that way I got to do some research and I got to know, okay, well, there are so many Ugandans that have taken this volunteer service program. So with the volunteer service program, that means you come to Germany, you are going to volunteer. You are not coming to work, but you have to come to volunteer. And the requirement is simple. You need to have a B1 German level. And then you need to have a place that is hosting you as a volunteer. And in that process, they're going to give you what they call Taschengeld, like pocket money. With the pocket money, you are added what I would say like insurance, because you need that's the insurance you need to pay into the rente program, so that you also pay your rent as you're volunteering, and you need also housing. So most times the people who are hosting this volunteer program, they have where to give you to stay. If you are lucky, you find those that have where housing, because in Germany housing is very, very difficult to find. And if you're coming as a volunteer, you're getting Taschengeld, which is not more than 450 euros. You can't find an apartment. You really need support from the host. So that's how I got to know about the volunteer program. I read about it and I realized, well, there are many young people from East Africa, Uganda, all over Africa and all over the world that come to the volunteer program. It also allows people who are older, it's not about the age, it's about, are you interested? Do you want to learn about the German culture? Are you interested in getting to know other people in Germany? Are you interested in knowing about German? So for me, I got this information, but also I was working with the Goethe Institute. And also, in the same time, I was also doing my theater. Then I got to meet many other theater creatives in Germany as I came to do shows. I was in Cologne, That's Cologne. Yeah, during the Cologne Afri Cologne Festival there, and then I moved to Marburg. And then in Marburg, because I was in that time I had already partnered in Marburg, I got to learn about the opportunity of volunteering with one theater that I performed with some years ago, and this I applied for that. Then when I applied for that, they gave me a space and they said, "Well, you can volunteer with us, but then there's a challenge: you cannot get housing from us. That means you need housing." But lucky enough, I have family support. So I got family support with housing, to pay housing, because you can't live in Germany without an address. You need an address. You need where to be found. If the foreign office is looking for you, which address are you registered under? So in the time, I got support from the Goethe Institute Kampala. They sent me to Göttingen to learn German language, B1, B2 for 3 months. I was lucky that way, and I came and I learned German up to B2. Goethe Institute Kampala supported that, and I came back to Uganda, and then I applied for volunteer program. So that's how I ended up here. And this program applies for all people, regardless of your age. Someone should just need to know what do they want to volunteer in. I did theater. The people are saying, I want to volunteer in the social service work, for example, work with young people or in kindergarten or in schools, or with old people or nursing or carpentry. You can't imagine how many people are looking for workers in carpentry. Yeah, but they don't have. So as a volunteer, you get the opportunity to know which area do I feel happy to do. And that's where you go. And then from there, you decide, do I want to work in this area? Do I want to educate myself in this area? Or do I want to come as a student? Yeah. I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, but my question is, I need to understand you are saying more. It's like when you are doing volunteer, you have to have uh, a professionalism of something, or you just, for example, me, I just finished my secondary level or advanced level, no university degree or diploma. Can I volunteer, or if someone is just a normal farmer in Africa, he does not have any education, he just have like he have one like he has A1 level certificate, but he does not have other educational certificate like secondary or university degree or diploma. Can also volunteer, or there is other condition which make it like that?
I would say the requirement for the volunteer program is to have the German language level. That's why that's the start of everything. Because you come to the country, you need to know the language, and learning the language is not about speaking the language. It's about understanding the culture of the country where you're coming from. That's the requirement. About having a degree or maybe a high school, secondary level, it is not a big requirement because you may come here and what you have from your country doesn't work and you have to start from zero. I give you an example. I came from Uganda with a university degree of education and I reached to Germany and my university degree didn't work because I was teaching history and religion and I need to learn the language to go in school and teach. So I went back to zero, but yeah, when I have my A level or maybe advanced level education or O level, ordinary level education, I can transit that into the German education level, what they call like Anerkennung for your papers. Then they give you either they're giving you a Hochschule or maybe they are giving you Realschule Abschluss, like the certificate, either ordinary or advanced level. So when you have that, it's an advantage for you as an individual if you're educated. Because when you're educated, you are ready to get into the system. But if you're not educated, it's not the end of the day. You can come for the volunteer program. You can come here. They are also called evening classes. Adults go back. I was studying to become an AFC, an educator in Germany. I was studying with people who are 50 years old. Yeah. So meaning you can get back. The problem is you need to learn the language. You need to learn to write. So you go back to study with the not with the small kids in Grundschule or primary, but they'll put you with the adults who are coming to learn the language. You learn how to write, and then there you go to primary. You study like adult schooling. Then from adult schooling, then you get your certificate. Then you move to another level. So the advantage with Germany is that they have an option for each challenge that comes with it. The system wants people to get skilled, to work, to pay into the system. And many migrants have this will to learn, to work, and pay back the system. And that's where German wants. They don't want you to come and you have your job as job center. They don't want you to just be part of the job center, people who just receive. That's not the nice job they want you to do. So at the end of the day, there are opportunities. You don't need to worry about your qualifications. I know people who came with O level, ordinary level. Right now, they're doing their masters. They just take small steps. And those small steps put you there. I came with a degree from my country and I ended up not using it and going back to study to become an educator with young people who were just like 17, 18 years old. I was already in my 35 years old, and with a kid at home and with a wife. I have to go back and study. From there, I realized, well, I need this certificate because in Germany, when you have the certificate of anything, whatever you do, you are a professional, you are respected for that, and you always be looked for. In that way, I did my studies. I finished, I was studying with young people. It was really not easy, but I managed to conclude it. And then I said, well, I'm qualified, I have my certificate. Now I'm going back to university to do my master's. So you see, you just need time and things work out. So anyone who doesn't have papers or like I'm not educated, get the German language, be willing to learn more things. You get yourself a volunteer program, come volunteer. If it is still given, the system in Germany is changing. They want more people to come as workers. But if you get a volunteer program, come and do it. And then from there, it's good when you are here. When you're here, you can fight. Yeah. I hope I answered you.
Thank you, our dear guest. For sure, Germany is a home of opportunities, and for sure, if you are a foreigner or houselander, if we may call it, and you come here and you want to sit down and receive every day you get and you are not giving anything, then it's very hard for you. It's like you are jailing yourself, because Germany is a country where the tax that everyone is paying is helping millions and millions of people, not just in Germany, but even outside Germany. I can say that Germany is a backbone of Europe. So please, we foreigners who are coming here, try to get something. Try first of all to learn the language and try to study something so that you can have your comfortable life, and German will be a home for you. Okay, now when you arrived in Germany, what surprised you most about living in Germany?
I think I had German experience some years ago when I came in Germany to just do a festival performance in Cologne, Afri-Cologne Festival. That was 2017. And then I went back and then come back 2018, do my workshop theater and that. I didn't really experience the real German because there was a visitor. I was just speaking a little bit of German. And when I reached here, there's of course culture shocks. Yeah. What you expect is not what you get. I expected that with my experience in life that I had made, I left my country not as a small artist. I was a known artist doing work on screens. People were appreciating my work on national theater, stage performing, and running an organization, paying people as workers. But then when I came here, the system made me small. They make you small. You are no longer what you were. You came as a visitor. They respect you for that. They will give you the stage. They will hear what you say. But the moment you come and say, well, I'm here to stay, I'm here to work here, I'm here to volunteer, then they're going to bring you back to the system. Because the system needs to make you small and mold you to their wanting. For me, I expect to come here because of my experience, I'll be able to get the jobs right away that I need in schools. And when I came here, I was told, no, you can't work in schools as you used to come, do workshops in schools and leave. Right now, you're coming to work in school, you need a qualification that allows you to work. Then from schools, I was, okay, let me try in kindergartens because those are small kids. They told me, well, there too, you need to have the qualification to go there to work with the small kids, the 3-year-olds or the 5 or 9-month-year-olds. You need a qualification to know how to handle them. And then I realized, well, any section needs me to work on my papers in terms of education. And that's where I realized my skills at the moment were not useful. At the moment, my experience that I collected, I was like, well, I was a big artist back home. I became a small person in Germany. No one needed to know me about my works as an artist. So when that was a shock. That makes many young people who have left their home country as CEOs, and then they come here to Germany and they realize, well, I'm nothing. I'm nothing. You are a nobody. You need to go back to school to learn the language, educate yourself in the system, be qualified, to be ready, to be respected. And that's what the culture shock for me. I realized I need to work on that. Language was also a shock because I thought English would make me survive, but I hated depending on people who know the language everywhere I was going. And in Germany, there's bureaucracy. Every letter is written in German. So you can't read your letters that are written in German all the time when you don't know the language. Right now, there are apps that someone can use to translate, but also apps make wrong translations sometimes. So knowing a little bit of the language makes you to understand what the app has translated in for you. And the language is a culture shock. Food, yeah, of course, food was a culture shock. I had to learn to eat bread. It's very important. You need to learn to eat bread because you realize bread is not just that because it's bread you don't want to cook, but you don't have time to cook. You go to school, you come back, you are here, you are late, it's already some hours past, you need to eat something. If you have bread, pick bread, put it butter on, case and eat, you leave. Or put your bread in a deep cooler, in the freezer, remove it, put in the oven, warm it, eat, leave. That was a culture shock. People depend on bread. I started missing ugali. I started missing ugali. How do I enjoy ugali here? If I want to cook ugali, I need to have time for it, to make it, and to eat it and enjoy it. There's no time for that. Another thing was like, because in my home country, the cultures are different. People here smile for you when you're just a visitor. But when you start staying here, you get to learn that people change like weather. I came in winter time. People in winter, they are very cold. They really don't like to be disturbed. They are cold like the weather. It's cold. It is really gray. I don't want to know. I got to learn, well, people change like weather. When someone smiles for you in winter, they are really open for getting to know you. So at the end of the day, I realized, okay, it's very important to understand how people behave here. Culture shock was really so much. I expect that people will be happy. You know, the Germany that we see in films is not the Germany I met. In movies, you see people enjoying. You know, I came in winter, there was not, I used to know snow. I came in the winter where there was no snow. It was just cold gray. Snow came once and I was like, what? It is so nice, snow is there, but then it was gone. I thought when I'm here, money is going to be coming to me because when you're in back home in East Africa, I would say there's a lot of money. People I left back home said, you are there, so you need to send us some money. I didn't know how to calculate euros. In that time, I was always going to the supermarket just buying. But the moment I started working to earn the money, I understood how to calculate the euros. You know, oh, well, that's more a cent. So I'd rather buy this one because less a cent. And then I realized I can't just send money back home because I need the money here. I need to pay rent. I need to pay my bills for my phone. I need to pay my internet. There's nothing free. People back home get money from Europe. It's free. And the problem is the Europeans portray themselves as the donors. They give the money. I'm here. They can't just give me that money. Even when you get the money from job center or Agentur of your Albeit, you will work for it. You write them emails. You'll call them. They will call you. They will sit you. They'll make you small. Then you realize, well, I need to work and earn my own money. And then when I earn my money, I need to know how to spend my money. I don't want to just send money back home because I don't have it. And that was the problem. I had friends that became now not friends because I could not send money back home. Family members, when they can't get money from you, they are no longer family members because you don't have the money. And they won't understand that you don't have the money. So for me, that was a culture shock, a financial culture shock. There was no money that I expected to be given to me. Yeah. And maybe I'll talk about the weather is really a bad thing because I just learned how to respect and appreciate sun.
Yeah.
Because in the year we don't have so much sun in Germany, but when the sun comes now, it's really nice. At the same time, it becomes too much, and you hate it, but you still love it. Yeah. Back to you.
Thank you very much. I think Germany has taught us to appreciate so much, because with the weather we have in Africa, it's totally different. And now we see the challenges they go through, and we appreciate. We knew that money just comes when you are in Europe, but now we work and we know the pain we have to go through, the stress we have to go. You have to work hard, you have to pay, settle your bills, and you know where you get the money. So you have to know and love, spend wisely, and save for you to have a better life. Please, I think our fellow brothers and sisters who are watching us, I think you understand that we also who are in Europe, in Germany, in America, we also need money because we have our bills to pay. This is just on a soft note.